This is Neil Turbin from Death Riders and Bleed the Hunger, and we're here with Andy LaRocque from King Diamond.
Say farewell to the future, get ready for the ride. We're going down to hell tonight, so strap yourself inside. There's a glaring contradiction in your world that's made of glass. Something small can shatter it and nail you to the past. The road beneath your wheels, the madness that you feel. Oh, you will pay with your life.
So what's it like playing with King Diamond since the 80s? What's, you're a stable guy. It's your gig. I mean, everyone wants your gig, but you got it, and you're rocking it every night. You're proving it every time you get on stage. It's beautiful.
Thanks, man. Well,
to see that.
I've been in the band for about 30 years now, actually celebrating 30-year anniversary while we were on the Mayhem tour. And I just realized, hey man, it's 30 years since I joined the band. It's crazy. The time just flies.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's been awesome.
So tell us about when you first joined the band. Weren't you somewhat concerned about all that Satan stuff and King Diamond and like beheadings and like goats and?
But the thing with King Diamond is that I always really been into the theatrical stuff. Theatrical stuff on stage like Alice Cooper, Kiss, Black Sabbath. You see, that's more like a theatrical kind of rock horror show than a satanic, thing.
What are some of the plans for King Diamond? What's some of your plans? I know with your studio, I'm sure you're kind of busy these days.
Yeah, I've been really busy until we went on the Mayhem tour this summer. I was real busy until then, and since we got back from the Mayhem tour, I think I've only been in the studio for like 3 days because we've been so busy preparing for this tour. But actually we're going to have a little break after this tour, and after that break we're going to start writing music for the next album.
That's amazing. So what do you anticipate for the next album? Is there any ideas, any song titles, any riffs?
Yeah, we have some riffs, but once we start, getting into the process, it's going to be brainstorming, and all that stuff, So it's going to be somewhere, I guess, in maybe February. We're going to start doing that too.
And Andy, I've read some of your interviews, just to kind of, educate myself and just bring myself up to speed, because I really admire your work, and I know that you've, worked with some bands that I find to be, top notch. I mean, obviously Death, Schuldiner. What was that experience like?
I thought, Chuck was a great guy, and all the other guys in the band too, So when I came down to Tampa, where they recorded that album, they just took good care of me for the 10 days I was there, and great experience because it was really something different.
And you've also worked with Frederick Nordstrom at the Gates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And also, amazing bands like Evergrey. I mean, early on in their career, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I produced the first, pretty much the first 4 albums with them, and I worked with them very close. And yeah, Frederick, he's a friend of mine, so we get in touch once in a while, so yeah.
And then Jordi Sandalinas, I know Jordi.
Yeah. I produced the first 2 albums with him, and some great musicians in that one too,
Yeah, and there's other bands that you've worked on. Falconer.
Yeah, Falconer. Yeah.
I can't pronounce
exactly,
every band. You got a few on.
Metal Blade band, and also, well, I did a few Metal Blade bands actually, so yeah. King of Asgard is another one, more like Viking metal, but great band.
So Andy, as far as your playing, I know you're neoclassically influenced. You have, you're not. It's kind of like in Sweden. I know they encourage, playing music. They encourage, having an education.
Well, I'm not really doing it by the book as many other guitarists do. I'm just, sitting down and experimenting, with notes and tones, and until it feels right,
It's feel from here to here.
It's feel, definitely feel. Ears and feel. That's it.
And I thought I heard some Uli Roth in there somewhere.
You probably did. You probably heard a lot of stuff. But then, of course, you try to, to create your own style, And I think, the best way to create your own style is to listen to a lot of different guitarists and then make your own kind of mix between, certain elements, from all the influences you have.
So how do we get Mike Weed over here?
He's here
Just
now.
ask him. Mike, it's so good to see you, man.
okay.
You guys rule. So this is like the guitar assault attack of King Diamond. Man, you guys are so consistent and so disciplined in how you guys approach it. And I'm just, I think for bands that are up and coming and, people that are going into the studio, what would you, as far as your discipline for preparing for this tour, what would you say is, what would be your advice?
When you look at TV stuff like Idol and all that stuff, you think that, it's so easy to just walk up on stage and do your thing. Forget about it. I mean, it's a lot of hard work behind it, of course, So it's a matter of practice, rehearse until you have it down 100%. And that's not just something you can do in like one day or a week or a month. I mean, it takes years to get there. I mean, years. Okay. I've been playing guitar in like 40 years, and I still suck. You know what I'm saying? So,
I don't know if I can agree with that.
It's because we've been playing together for such a long time now, so you start to learn, it's like you start to follow each other and pick up on certain small things on stage.
Known each other for 25 years,
A long
right?
time, since I was in the late 80s.
Almost 30
late
years,
80s,
since
my
he was-
Candlemas days.
Yeah, he was in Candlemas for a
I was in
while,
Candlemas, yeah.
and they were supporting us back in Sweden, back in '87.
On the
So it's like,
Abigail
wow,
tour.
Yeah, on the Abigail tour.
How cool.
That's when we met the first time.
So tell us about the LineSix and your,
Yep.
the other companies that you're working with, and some of the sounds that both of you are getting on the guitar side. I'm not trying to keep you on the camera, but I'm just so fascinated by the tone, because I mean, this is two masters of tone being able to balance it with King Diamond. I mean,
Well, Mike is using ESP guitars, I'm using Dean guitars, and we got the LineSix rig. I mean, we got two LineSix rigs, obviously, but with some great presets, that just works for the stuff we're doing, And we're talking about, rhythm sound, a good clean sound, and a good lead tone, and I think LineSix has what we need right now. So
Totally.
nice. So I wondered, regarding solos that you guys have done, is there any solos that kind of come to the front of your mind as far as, ones that are some of your favorites?
one that I remember being one of the first solos I recorded on the demo album was actually the solo for Welcome Home,
Welcome Home.
which I still think is a pretty good solo, actually. I mean, and we're still playing that song, That was one of the first solos I recorded on that album, I think, and I still like it. Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Well, in this set list, it's like mostly none of my solos in there, But for me, it's like the Black Horseman, the outro solo is really, really nice. That's a nice one. And that's also one, I kind of changed it a bit from the way Michael Tanner played it on the original album, but still, that one is a pretty good one. I like that.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's just been a pleasure to speak with you gentlemen today and to see you here at the Woolturn. I think it's time for everyone to have a cocktail because you guys have earned it
I
for
agree.
sure.
Thank you.
And you're watching The Metal Voice, and you're watching Andy LaRocque and Mike Weed from King Diamond here at the Woolturn Theater in Los Angeles, California. And stay metal and watch The Metal Voice.